Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Temple Israel. I'm Rabbi Michael Wolk here on the Bima with Cantor Shira Lissick, and we're happy to welcome all of you who are with us in person for Kabbalat Shabbat tonight. It's the third time, but it's still a special treat to have you here. We're also happy to be joined by so many congregants on Zoom and on StreamSpot, all coming to spend some time together as we conclude the work week. Tonight, we start not only Shabbat, but also Yantiv. It's been Chol HaMoed, the intermediate days of Passover, and tonight we start Yom Tov, the final 2 days of Pesach. It's an extra happy day. So tonight, when we light the candles, we say a special blessing. We welcome not just in Shabbat, but also the holiness of Passover. Please rise and join with Cantor Lissick in the candle lighting blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav
There's actually a tradition on days like today, when it's not only Shabbat, but also a holiday, of skipping Kabbalat Shabbat, of skipping the introductory psalms that we sing before Shabbat. The idea being that we're already in a sense of heightened joy because of Yontiv. But our Kabbalat Shabbat is so beautiful, I couldn't bear to skip it this week. So we decided to do something a little bit different. On the seventh day of Passover, we focus on Shirat Hayam, the Song of the Sea. We believe that took place, the splitting and crossing of the Red Sea took place 7 days after leaving Egypt, and we'll read the story tomorrow. So as we begin services tonight, we focus on the words that Moses and Miriam and the Israelites sang when they saw the Egyptians could no longer harm them. We open with Ozi v'Zimrat Yah. And a modern take on the Song at the Sea, Miriam's song.
Get out your timbrels. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. And Miriam was a weaver of unique variety. The tapestry she wove was one which sang our history. With every strand and every thread she crafted her delight. A woman touched with spirit, she danced toward the light. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one who we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. And Miriam the prophet took her timbrel in her hand, and all the women followed her just as she had planned. And Miriam raised her voice in song and sang with praise and might. We've just lived through a miracle, we're going to dance tonight. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam
We turn in our Sidurim to page 27, Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat, a song for the day of Shabbat.
Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, Uzamer l'shimcha elyon, Ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Mizmor Shir. Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, Uzamer l'shimcha elyon, Ulezamer l'shimcha להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, Uzamer l'shimcha elyon, Ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Tzadik atamar yifrach ke'erez balvanon yizke shetulim, beveit Adonai bechatrot Eloheinu yafrichun, hodin v'mesevad shenim v'rananim yehiyu, lehagik yashar Adonai, tzuri v'lo havlatabo.
Page 29.
Adonai malaki ulavesh, lavesh Adonai ositazar atikon tevel baitimot. Mikolot mayim rabim adirim mishpereyam, adir bamarom Adonai, erotecha nemnu melbetcha nava kodesh, Adonai leorech yamim.
Each and every Shabbat, we bless our children, we bless all the people we love, all the people we care about with the words of Berkat Kohanim, the ancient priestly blessing, which we wish all those people that God grants them kindness and grants them shalom, peace, shleimut, and wholeness. We now reach out to the people in our lives. If we're close by, we reach out physically. Where they're across the world or even just in another home, we reach out with our hearts and we share with them the words of the priestly blessing. Bless you and guard you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka, ken yehi ratzon.
May Adonai show you favor and be gracious to you.
Yitzah Adonai panav elecha
may show you kindness and grant you peace.
Amen. Keni Hiratzon.
We now turn to our Mishaberach prayers for healing. This Shabbat, we think of in our prayers Chana Miriam bat Rivka, Avram Mordechai ben Fega, Tamar bat Rachel Yehuda, Rav Yaakov Chai ben Hadassah, Shimon ben Yaakov Mordechai ben Naomi, Devorah bat Sarah, Hershel Yehoshua ben Malka, Perel bat Rezel, Dov ben Ita, Shmuel Yaakov ben Kalia va'ari, Devorah Rachel, Aviva bat Chaya, Malka bat Sarah, Leib Yisrael ben Tzipora, Liza Meira bat Leah, Tzivia bat Chana, Yudit bat Miriam, Meira Bracha bat Chana, Tzipora bat Chasha, Fegela bat Chasha, Arya ben Malka, Rachel bat Ruth, Harav Moshe Elchanan ben Harav Avraham Halevi, Kalman Pinchas ben Moshe ve'eta, Sarah bat Chaya, Chanoch Yitzchak ben Sarah, Sarah bat Shendol, Binyamin Noah, Aver Yitzchak, Yosef ben Miriam, Shiri Ruth Batya bat Yaakov Yerushalayim, Cyril ben Moshe Kalman, Miriam Tzivia bat Aaron Vitova, Chava Charna bat Zev Dov, Howard and Beverly Kaufman, Elijah Avila, Jordana Faith Ram, Mabel Tannenbaum, Kathy Berlin, Maxine Albaum, Sandra Harold, and Don Roth. We now take a moment to recite the names of anyone you would like to pray for this evening. Prayer for healing. For healthcare workers. May God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless you for honoring God and caring for God's creation. May God protect and save you from COVID-19 and send blessing and success to the work of your hands, along with all others who are doing their part to ease suffering and save lives. May God bless you every time you rise up from your bed, walk out of your home, and go to work. And may you return to your loved ones each and every day in full health, and let us say, Amen.
Amen.
We turn in the Sidurim to page 30, the Mourner's Kaddish. I invite those in mourning or those observing a yard site to please rise and join me in the words of the Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabah v'yalmad yivera kirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon u'vyomechon u'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru amen Yehi shemei rabah mevorach le'olam u'lomei olmaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha b'richu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechamata damiran v'yalma v'yimru amen Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. May be seated. Shabbat shalom and Chag Sameach, everyone. 6 days of Passover down, 2 to go. Some people are enjoying it. Some people can't wait for the pizza at the end of Yontiv. In my house, it was always ice cream at the end. So, who has a favorite part of Pesach? Last week, Cantor Lissick said she knows it's Pesach when she crunches on the matzah for the first time. Who has a favorite part of Pesach that they really like? If you're on Zoom, you're probably shouting it, but I can't hear. Isaac, what have you got? Matzah pizza. That is a great part of Passover. We made matzah pizza and put fresh basil on it this year, and it was as good as any flatbread pizza I've ever had. Matzah pizza is a good part. Anyone else have a favorite moment or a favorite part of Passover? As Cantor Lissick said, you're going to have to get used to this. I talk to you during services.
I'll just say my favorite part is by the end of the Seder, everybody's a little bit delirious.
That's very true.
And so the singing at the end of the Seder, amongst the laughter and the wine and the funniness of that's my favorite part.
There's a lot of hiccuping at the end of the Seder. Steve? The special songs that we sing on Passover, yes. We talked about that, and you and I studied some of them, learned some of them yesterday morning in our Jews and Brews class. So I want to go back to what I said before Pesach started. When we started the month of Nisan, I complained from the Bima about having to schlep all of the boxes of Passover supplies from the attic behind my bedroom down to the first floor of the house. Well, the task was as unpleasant as I imagined it would be, bending over in the attic multiple times to get the boxes out, but thankfully it ended pretty quickly, and Passover arrived. Once those boxes were downstairs, I started to open them up, and I came across one particular treasure in those boxes that I don't think about for most of the year, but always brings a smile to my face when I get to it. In the box labeled Passover dairy dishes is a smaller box with our dairy, our milchigs, silverware. Now, this silverware is actually quite old. It belonged to my mother's parents, my nudge mama and grandpa. Nudge mama is Hungarian for grandma. And they used this set of silverware during the year. But when I inherited them, I koshered them, cleaned them and immersed them in boiling water, and made them our Passover dairy set. They're pretty basic stainless steel, but they do have a distinct design that I have not seen elsewhere. They bring back happy memories. They remind me of my grandparents, specifically of the scrambled eggs that my grandfather made for breakfast. At least once each Passover, while using this silverware, I think that maybe this year we should keep them out after Passover. Instead of putting them away, we should keep out that silverware, use it during the year, and put our other set away and re-kosher it next year. I don't think I will do it, but the thought does cross my mind. Passover, you always get unexpected, nice surprises. Another thing that I enjoy during Passover, and don't actually remember from year to year, is the experience of grating the fresh horseradish root and using it to flavor food, even after the Seder. I like strong flavors, and this horseradish root is about as strong a flavor as you can imagine. And as I'm enjoying it at the Seder, I think I should, maybe have maror flavored food during the year. However, my family disagrees. Passover is challenging. Passover is difficult to prepare for. But once we get there, we have these moments that we enjoy, these moments that we wish we could replicate during the rest of the year, that we could take from this week, which is different from every other week, and bring them back to the regular year. On the last 2 days of this holiday, we focus on our ancestors after they left Egypt, once the Exodus has already taken place, and how they deal with their first few days of freedom, how they adjust to not being slaves, but to being free people on their own. And the answer that the Torah seems to give is not very well. They're depicted as constantly being frightened, people who are afraid to stand on their own, revert to complaining, revert to wanting to go back to Egypt where it feels safe, even though they were slaves. And it will take them 40 years of wandering to adapt to no longer being that nation of slaves, to feeling like they are free people who can live in their own land. On Passover, we remember their experience. We usually talk about the experience of the Exodus, that final night in Egypt, when we recreate the Seder of our ancestors and imitate leaving Egypt. But after the Seders are over, we are also supposed to recreate the experience of learning to be free people, of learning a new experience. And we challenge ourselves during the difficult time that came before. What are the positives that we want to take out of it? The good experiences that we weren't expecting, that we want to bring into our regular lives. Think about it every year, but I especially think about it this year as we are in the process of coming out of a most challenging experience of the pandemic. We adapted to new circumstances, not in ways that were always pleasant, not in ways that we always wanted to. Hopefully, it was an opportunity to learn about ourselves, to learn that we are resilient, to learn that we can adapt, that we can change to meet new circumstances. We all want so much to go back to the lives we knew beforehand, but we also challenge ourselves, what are the positives that we can take out of this year? What are the new habits that we learned, that we got into, the new skills that we picked up during this time when we had to stay mostly on our own, that we want to bring into our regular lives? We're still in this, so we don't know what we will be like at the end of it. So it's a learning experience for all of us, learning to take the difficulties of the past year, frame some of them as positive, frame some of them as skills that we want to experience in a more normal time, and learn from them to improve ourselves. I know that I personally will be much more conscious, or will attempt to be much more conscious, of my use of technology. I've talked about it often, about how it's changed so much during this year, both on Shabbat, doing services in front of a giant TV, and in the regular week, how much more time I spend in front of my computer. And knowing that there are times when I absolutely need to cut it off, which I was not good at before. I hope coming out of it, I will be better at it. And so, this last 2 days of Passover ask us to think, what have we learned about ourselves? What has been a positive in a very dark year that we can take into this new year and enjoy in a more normal time? Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach. We continue with the Mariv, the evening service, page 39. Please rise for the Baruch Hu. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, whose word brings the evening dusk, whose wisdom opens the gates of dawn, whose understanding changes the day's division, whose will sets the succession of seasons and arranges the stars in their places in the sky, who creates day and night, who rolls light before darkness and darkness from before the light.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני המריב הרבים. ואהבת תורה מצוותיו. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, והם נגע יומם ועד לילה, בבטחה תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. ומשמעות ששמות זאת. Adonai Elohechem emet.
Page 43. Then Moses, Miriam, and the people Israel joyfully sang to you, Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, page 44.
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל, לחנו שירה בשמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה, זה הליאנו ואמרו, זה הליאנו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. ונאמר, כי פטרני את יעקב מלך חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גל ישראל.
Amen. Allow us, Adonai our God, to sleep peacefully. Awaken us to life, O sovereign. Blessed are you who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Page 45, Hashkivenu.
השכיבנו, אדוני, אלוהינו, לשלום, לשלום. השכיבנו, אדוני, אלוהינו, לשלום, לשלום. והעמים watch over me. And when the morning comes, we thank Adonai and pray for peace. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu lishalom behamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu lishalom behamidenu malkeinu Ushmor tzidkenu vo'enu l'chaim u'lishalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Ufros aleinu sukat shelamecha. Baruch ata Adonai. Haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim.
Amen. Page 46, please rise.
Shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. B'nei b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה Adonai את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועמד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל. בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם לעולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויפאר ויתרומם וינשא ויתעטר ויתעלה ויתעלה. שמי קודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה במהרו אמן.
Vayedaber Moshe et Moadei Adonai el Bnei Yisrael. Thus Moses proclaimed the festivals of Adonai to the people Israel. We turn ahead to page 306, the silent Amidah for festival evening, including the insertions for Passover and for Shabbat, page 306.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav HaYisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav HaYisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav HaYisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav HaYisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael. B'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
Turn back to page 54 for Kaddish Shalem.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
יעמד יברח חירותי ומנוחתי בחיוכון ובכל נפחת מועית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם לא מהמיה. Yiparach, Yiparach, Vishabach, Vibar, Vidrobam, Vidnase, Vidazar, Vizal, Vizal, Shmerikud, Shabrichu, Leila, Min Kober, Chazav, Shirtad, Zhubratav, Nachmatad, Amiram, Yamavim, Ru, Amen. Kikabat, Sotonavat, Sonzucha, Israel, Kadam, Avon, Vishmaivim, Ru, Amen. Yisham, Arab, Minshmai, Vachemlin, Vako, Israel, Vim, Ru, Amen. Ose Shalom, Vim, Roma, Fuyase Shalom, Aleinu, Velko, Israel, Velko, Yoshvei, Tevel, Vim, Ru, Amen.
Amen. We turn ahead to page 79. I invite you to please rise, and if you're joining us from home, raise your Kaddish cup for the Kaddish for Shabbat and Yom Tov, middle of page 79. Savrim, Aranan, Rabbanan, V'Rabotai, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'am, v'romemanu mikol lashon, v'kideshanu b'mitzvotav, v'atiten lanu Adonai Eloheinu b'ahava, Shabbatot limnucha, moadim l'simcha, chagim uzmanim l'sason, et yom haShabbat hazeh, ve'et yom chag hamatzot hazeh, zman cherutenu b'yahava mikra kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'charta, ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat u'moadei kodshecha, v'yahava uvratzon, v'simcha uvsason, hinchaltanu, baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat v'Yisrael, v'hazmanim.
L'chaim.
Let's turn back to page 63. We are in the period starting on the second night of Passover called Sfirat HaOmer, the counting of the Omer, counting 50 days between Passover and Shavuot, symbolizing the time that it took for our ancestors to go from slavery in Egypt to standing at the foot of Mount Sinai and hearing the words of the Ten Commandments from God, entering into the covenant with God. We count each of those days, showing our excitement for Shavuot, which is the culmination of Passover, and we mark each night and each week leading to Shavuot. So on page 63, we say the introductory paragraph in the English. We are about to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer, as it is written in the Torah. You shall count from the eve of the second day of Pesach, when an omer of grain is to be brought as an offering. 7 complete weeks, the day after the 7th week of your counting, will make 50 days. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer. Hayom shisha yamim la'omer. Tonight we will count 6 days to the counting of the Omer. We turn back to Aleinu, page 56.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, latit gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratot, velo samanu k'mishpechot hadama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומשה ביקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו לגבי מרומים. Eloheinu Einon, Ememakeinu Efes Ulaton, Kakatu Bitorato, Viadatayom, Beashivota, Elevabecha, Ki Adonai Hu Elohim, Bashamayim Imal, Viaretz, Mitach Adonai. הכתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
May be seated. We turn to page 58. This Shabbat, we mark the yortzites of Sarah Thaler, Lewis Carr, Helen Scheib, Sander Bach, Edward Moore, Flora M. Elkodzi, Herman Meiselman, Leah Fine, Sarah Cohen, Ethel Berkowitz, Adam Matthew Hirsch, Victor Schwartz, Louis Halpert, Esther Melman, Helene Feldman, Charles Levinson, Henry Zucker, Sal Jaffa, Wilhelmina Newman Mackler, Charles Halley, Andrew Fox, Gertrude Polly Polyakov Pressman, Annie Estroff, Alyssa Joy Barman, Beverly Spiegler, Fanny Epstein, David Dowmett, Michael Rushvarg, Helen Lapping, Joan Slade, Ruben Steinman, Esther Kaufman, Ethel Montag, Herbert Candle, Hattie Smith Cinco, Carlo Michelle, Irene Kosov, Mildred Thaler, Miriam Mary Greenman, Paul Fixman, Harold Ross, and Florence Green. We also extend condolences to families in the midst of Shiva or Shloshim following the death of a loved one, to the Straz, Lusky, and Valenstein families for the passing of Marcia Lusky-Kokiel, to the Kasman family for the passing of Sharon Kasman, to Deanna Goldner for the passing of her mother, Sharon Goldner, to Janice Weiner for the passing of her mother, Anna Poiner. Janice, as the email said this afternoon, will be starting Shiva after the conclusion of Yantiv. We don't sit public Shiva or formal Shiva on Shabbat or on holidays, and she will be observing Shiva at the Temple Israel Minyan next Monday through Wednesday at 7:30. Turn to page 58, and I invite those in mourning or marking a yortzeit to rise and join me in the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divera kirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen, yehi shemei Rabbah mevorach leolam u'lomeo maya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha brichu, le'ela minko berchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechamata, damiran v'yalma v'imru amen, yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen, oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yal kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. May be seated. Now call on our President, Teresa Brenner, for some words of greeting.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom and happy seventh day of Passover, Temple Israel family. Thank you, Rabbi Walk and Cantor Lissick, for inspiring us this evening, Sean Sievert for your audiovisual support, Corey Davis for your musical accompaniment, and Melissa Lefko for serving as Zoom Gabbai. Please plan on joining us for Shabbat and the 8th day of morning services tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Please also join us on evening services, both Saturday and Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Services on the 8th day of Passover on Sunday will have a Yitzker component. We are continuing with our reopening plans. COVID-19 vaccines are available to all adults 16 and over in South Carolina and starting April 7th in North Carolina. We have congregants in person with us this evening. Welcome all of you. It's nice to see you in person. Sign up for in-person attendance for March and April continues. Please do check your email. Additional dates are being added weekly. All services will also continue to be held virtually. We know this is just the first step toward coming back together as a physical community. To assist us with continuing along with the reopening plans, be on the lookout for a short 6-question survey that will assist us with reopening, and it will be sent sometime this next week. Please complete the survey. It will help guide us going forward. Jews and Brews with Rabbi Walk will not be held on Thursday this week. There are many exciting things going on at Temple Israel this week. Torah on Tap will be hosting a cooking class with Rob Clement of Meshuggah, which offers Jewish food with a Southern twist, such as pimento cheese knishes on April 15th at 7 p.m. And no, we can't all pretend we're 20 years old and join that particular event. Men's Club will be hosting a very special Men's Club Shabbat on April 9th and 10th, and will also be delivering Men's Club Shabbat baskets filled with all sorts of goodies. There are a number of activities planned for that weekend as well. Please reach out to Josh Lowensteiner or Mike Eisner if you'd like to attend person-in services or if you have any questions. Men's Club will be hosting a golf outing on Tuesday, April 13th at 8 a.m. for members and prospective members at the Charles T. Myers Golf Course, a public course that is both well-tended and forgiving. Registration in advance is required. Torah Tots Israel-themed Bim Bam Shabbat service will be held this coming Friday on April 9th at 5:45 p.m. Please join your Torah Tot friends via Zoom along with Rabbi Kornsgold and Mr. Caleb for a great time celebrating Shabbat in Israel, including a brief service, songs, and dances. Empty Nesters will host a virtual scavenger hunt on Saturday, April 10th at 8:30 p.m. Please join for a fun evening interacting virtually and completing the scavenger hunt to win some amazing prizes. Pre-registration is required. Temple Israel is honored to host this year's community Yom HaShoah community commemoration on Sunday, April 11th at 2 p.m. Please join us as we welcome keynote speaker Maxine Marcus, an international crimes prosecutor and investigator, and the founder and director of Partners in Justice International. Local Holocaust survivors Sully Chenkin and Irving Beanstock, both members of our temple, will also be joining us. Please register in advance. If you would like a Yom HaShoah candle delivered to your home, please contact Men's Club before Tuesday, April 6th. The Rose Room gift shop is open for shopping by appointment and online shopping always with curbside pickup and delivery to your home. For more information, reach out to Stephanie Meadow. After Shabbat, please see our website, Kol Israel, and your weekly email for complete information about the Shabbat Zoom link, the Streamshot box, and upcoming events, including youth events with Alan Jonathan. We offer many opportunities for services, learning, community, and friendship. Please join us. Shabbat Shalom and happy 7th day of Passover, Temple Israel family.
Thank you, Teresa. I don't know that the members of Torah on Tap want to pretend that they're 20 either, but 20s. But pimento cheese knishes do sound really good. Just a logistical note on the next few days. Services for the next 2 mornings for Shabbat and for the 8th day of Pesach can be accessed on Zoom using the Shabbat and holiday link on the live stream page or on live stream. And the afternoon services can be accessed using the regular afternoon service link on the same page. Cantor, ready for another full weekend of services?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Holidays and matzah,
Oh, yeah,
maror, matzah pizza, wine, all those good things.
absolutely.
Let's conclude tonight with Shalom Aleichem. We turn back to page 5.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Asharit, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech Malachi HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Asharit, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech Malachi HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shabbat Shalom.